Hey, hey there. I just had to plug in the mic on the headset there. Had to turn on the headset. But hey there, thanks for being here. Today's the weekly talk for the 3rd. That'd be the 3rd of June, although it's on the 4th today. Day late, as happens sometimes. Life, right? Anyway, today we're going to talk about why these statues, why the altars, why the temples. And it's pretty easy to explain. I haven't prepared anything. I'm just talking here, of course, but the statues first of all, let's go there. Things that people hold sacred. First of all, there's images, and the image of the Buddha, similarly to the image of Jesus or one of the gods, is held as sacred. It's a depiction, our best depiction of whatever, whoever. And so uh, we honor it in the other's place. So this Buddha statue here, it represents Buddha. Is it Buddha? No, it represents Buddha, of course. Of course, we don't think it's a real person there, and so it's sacred. So I bow to it when I enter the temple room. It's a showing of respect and gratitude, and it's not worship, but people do worship Buddha. They're not praying to the statue, they're praying to Buddha, which they know is not a statue, once again. And, when I have occasion to go to a Christian church, I will bow to the statue of Jesus. I respect his work very highly, in somewhat the way that I respect Buddha's work. And I actually believe that he was trying to do Buddha's work as a monk. But, only so much could be accepted. If you look at the Jewish faith of the time, he was Buddha's teaching was way around the corner, and they were not willing to accept that much of it. But they really did with open arms. You know, over time, it wasn't popular at first, but they did hear these things again and again. They made sense, the teachings of Buddha. So we respect Buddha. We even put offerings there, which we know Buddha's not going to eat, probably, right? But it's a respect and a gratitude once again. There's a washing of the statue ceremony that happens. Um, so there's an altar. It's a place of sacredness that we have. And Catholics, as well as Buddhists, as well as many number of different kinds of faiths and practices, do have candles and incense. And can't reliably say too much about the history of that too far back, but certainly a common practice. And we have the temple, which houses these things. And the temple is sure a sacred place, but also it's a place of community. It's a place of practice, of course, and these things come together. And so if you have a community of people that are trying to move towards living the holy life, that's a good thing. And I say that, and I know some that middle way here, there's some bad things that can happen. Gossip and the ruining of people's lives. And there's the other side, which is the lifting up of people, the helping them, the real sense of community, and helping people with their lives. And we can even pray to Buddha, and some do pray to him as a god, and we can't say what Buddha is right now. Certainly, as far as the Indian classifications go, he would be a deity, and there are deities that are certainly worshipped and prayed to in India. So it's not far-fetched. People do, pray to Jesus, and I think they pray to Muhammad also. I could be wrong, but I think they do, and many different gods, of course. So we see that normally people are not praying to Buddha, but that some sects, some areas, they do pray to Buddha, and it's okay. It's as okay as praying to Jesus or Osiris, the sun god, or whatever. Um, you could say, well, I have some sort of beef with it. I have a problem with it because you don't believe in a particular deity. Okay, but what about the practice? What about the community? What about the faith? What about all that? If there's practice that's wise, productive, and good for everybody, it's a good thing. If they're praying to Buddha as their faith, what better to have faith in than a deity that comes to earth and brings teachings that all of the world religions seem to incorporate? Of course, it's universal truth. And so there you go. I don't want to spend too much time going over it, but as far as thinking that there's a deity, I mean, who came and brought teachings that nobody was talking about, crafted them all himself? That would be Buddha. He's the foremost teacher of universal truth and faith that I think the world has ever seen. If you look into it, if you really look into these teachings, he came up with the concept of being born again, as he called it, of the noble birth, when you become a monk. And then later, other people started to talk about being born again, hundreds of years later, but yeah, they did. They started to embrace the idea. He came up with different instruction and talk about redemption and forgiveness, about how we can handle people and things, handle situations, how we can reflect inside, we can be introspective, we can figure out what the things that are causing us most of our suffering in life. And I guess I'm not going to paraphrase all of his teachings, but he gave us the path of eight, the universal way that people can cultivate their lives and accept truth. The four truths to tell us, that there's going to be suffering, and that suffering has cause, cure, and end. Uh, Hopefully, not forgetting the first one once you go through the other ones, that there's going to be suffering. And he gives examples that we're all go through. This is suffering, he says. That is suffering. Old age, sickness, death, losing loved ones. We lose what we cherish, what we value, and we can cherish and value things to a form of attachment. And when attachments are severed, or we just even believe they're severed, it can be very traumatic for us. So Buddha has been a psychotherapist, uh, a magician of sorts, a certainly a prophet of universal truth, of what is divine, a person of logic, teaching us what we should all know is true because we're all seeing it. We're just not paying attention. And I'm thankful for that. Very thankful. I hope that if you're not a person who has a relationship with Buddha's teachings, that this has been helpful for you. And I urge you to get a relationship with Buddha's teachings, and not to just believe them, but it's gotta be true. You can prove it. It's productive. It's wise. It's good for everybody. And the way you know it's true because you've practiced it and found it that way. And truth is that way. Truth will stand up on its own. Delusion, when you debate delusion, you quickly find it to be baseless, that there are no factual basis. Anyway, once again, I'm thanking you for showing up here and taking a listen. For Monks of the Way, R A Manard, talking for Monks of the Way. I hope that delusion will light will remove delusion in your life the way light removes darkness. And that's the way it works. Thank you.